Also give the opportunity to see if there are any questions that myself or Mr. Ryan Lilly can answer. First of all, I want to tell you thank you so much for coming out today. As you saw, we had the opportunity this morning to really give an update and a view of the scene to Secretary Wilkie as well as Dr. Stone. And so really just appreciate their support in coming here and helping this organization move forward. The wounds do not get better, right? I think time here will help the healing for our family here. And that's one of the things that we do consider ourselves a family at VA Connecticut Healthcare System, and that includes all of our 3,500 employees. So the emotions are still raw, but we will move forward, and as soon as the investigation is complete, we will also take that into account to make improvements. So I'd be happy to answer questions, or Mr. Lilly as well.
Al, can you talk a little bit about if any of your employees have availed themselves of any psychological assistance since
Sure.
what happened on Friday?
Yeah, so I think we're very fortunate at VA Connecticut to have an employee assistance program as well as a chaplain service. So most, if not all, VA hospitals have a chaplain service. And so our chaplain service and the employee assistance coordinator have been going and making themselves available to employees. And I can tell you that employees have been utilizing that service. I myself have sat and talked with the chaplain and the employee assistance coordinator on multiple occasions, and I think that's how we move forward, right? Grief is going to look different for everyone, but we have to move forward and make the system better.
In terms of a date for improvements to start, has that been set yet? What Secretary Wilkie talked about, that it's already been approved, when some of these improvements may start here?
Yeah, so we are, I think what was referenced, and I think Tony, you and I talked about this before, is that we are working on the design, right, the initial designs for a new tower, right, essentially a 3-story tower.
Right.
Those are working through that process, as we speak, including what goes in that kind of a tower, how does it interconnect with the rest of the facility, what services and the like. And so that is an ongoing process. Construction in the VA is on a time frame, right? So we have a year, you do a design for 1 year, then you construct a couple years later. So we are moving those projects forward. Okay. Other questions?
Who is responsible for hiring contractors to do building maintenance at the VA health system?
Yeah, so I appreciate that question. I think that contractors are hired in a number of different ways, right? So they can be hired through contracting if the job is large enough, or if it's a small enough job that can be done through the use of a government credit card, then that's handled at the individual level of the different services or the shops that oversee that work. Other questions?
Sorry, I got here later, very sorry. Senators Blumenthal and Murphy have both said that they are going to approach the Biden administration to rebuild a lot of the complex, that some of these buildings are from the 1950s and the facade is new, but the interior is not. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, so we actually already talked about another construction project that we're working on, that we're working through the approval process and the design process to bring to fruition this campus. A major tower, right? A 3-4-story tower that would bring new services to our veterans here in the state of Connecticut. So we are working through that, and I've been in contact with Senator Blumenthal every day this week. In fact, I'll call him a little bit later today to give him an update on how things are happening on the ground.
And the time frame on that would be?
Those time frames I wouldn't be able to tell you right now. I'd have to get that question back to you, but normally a project that big takes several years to happen, right? It's not something that if it were approved today that would be constructed tomorrow. A 3-4-story building would take at least 2-3 years of construction.
And an approximate cost on that?
It actually is about $365 million.
And Congress would have to vote for that? That is not allocated yet, correct?
It's working through that process. I believe that, as Senator Blumenthal pointed out on Friday, right, that is in their branch, right? That's in the legislative branch to be able to fund projects and fund the infrastructure projects within the VA.
And are you optimistic? How do you assess? Are you optimistic?
So I'm a very optimistic guy. I will tell you that my 3,500 employees know that I am full of optimism, right? I see things as the glass half full. And so absolutely, I'm optimistic for the veterans within the state of Connecticut and really all of our employees to make improvements and modernizations of our campus. Other questions? Great, thank you all. Have a good day.